Dear students, yesterday we discussed about gaseous laws, Boyle's law, Charles' law, Gay-Lussac's law and Avogadro's law. Today we are going to derive ideal gas equation. So according to Boyle's law, volume is inversely proportional to pressure. So both are indirectly proportional. According to Charles' law, volume is directly proportional to temperature. According to Avogadro's hypothesis, volume is directly proportional to the number of moles. So Boyle's law relates volume with the pressure. Both are indirectly proportional. Charles' law relates volume and temperature. They are directly proportional. Avogadro's hypothesis relates volume with the number of moles. They are directly proportional. So we combine all these three. Volume is related with number of moles, temperature and the pressure. Volume is directly proportional to the number of moles and the temperature and indirectly proportional to the pressure. This proportionality can be removed by introducing a constant. So V is equal to R Nt by P. So this is proportionality constant and also called as gas constant. So the pressure can be moved into the left hand side. So PV is equal to nRT. This is an important equation. This is ideal gas equation. For an ideal gas, when you multiply pressure and volume, the value will be equal to the product of number of moles, gas constant and temperature. This is ideal gas equation. We have to know what is ideal gas. We have more number of gaseous molecules like hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, chlorine and the compounds like carbon monoxide, dioxide and so on. If any gas is obeying this equation, we call the gas as ideal gas. Okay. Ideal gas is not a separate one. The gaseous molecule, if it obeys the ideal gas equation, the gaseous molecule will be considered as ideal gas. But practically we don't have any ideal gas. Ideal gas means perfect gas. So no gas is obeying the PV is equal to nRT equation. So we don't have ideal gas. So we call the gaseous molecules as real gases. Perfect gas is called ideal gas, which obeys PV is equal to nRT equation. But we don't have ideal gas. So the gaseous molecules are considered as real gases. So in ideal gas equation, 4 parameters are used: pressure, volume, number of moles and temperature. The pressure of the gas, volume of the gas, how much temperature is maintained, how much number of moles of gaseous molecules present. And this will be a constant, proportionality constant or gas constant. So this gas constant can be derived. So we rearrange the formula. We need gas constant R. So PV divided by Nt. Gas constant can be calculated. We know that pressure is expressed in different units like atmospheric pressure, millimeter of mercury, bar, tar, psi, Pascal. So different units are used. So first we are going to use the unit atmospheric air. Okay. So atmosphere. So pressure is 1 atmosphere. Okay. So we take a gas whose pressure is 1 atmosphere. Number of mole 1. And the temperature is 273.15 Kelvin. So unit for mole is mol. So we take a gaseous molecule, whose number of moles 1, the temperature is maintained as 273.15 Kelvin, and the pressure is 1 atmospheric pressure. That means what is molar volume? Volume occupied by 1 mole gas at standard temperature pressure is called what? Molar volume. So the condition is 1 atmospheric pressure and 273.15 Kelvin means molar volume. How much volume is required for 1 mole of gas? 22.4 liter or decimeter cube. Okay. So all these basic concepts we already studied in first lesson. Basic concepts of chemistry and the chemical calculations we studied. What is molar mass, molar volume in different parameters. All these we already studied. So for a gaseous molecule, temperature 273.15 Kelvin, pressure 1 atmospheric pressure. That means molar volume, 1 mole is present, so molar volume will be 22.4 liter or decimeter cube. So gas constant R is equal to 0.0821 unit atmosphere decimeter cube per mole per Kelvin. Mole power minus 1, Kelvin power minus 1. So gas constant is derived. The value of gas constant is obtained by substituting the pressure in terms of atmosphere. Instead of this, some other units can also be used. Pressure 1 bar pressure, number of moles 1, the temperature is the same 273.15 Kelvin. What will be the molar volume? 22.71 liter or decimeter cube. So 1 bar pressure 273.15 Kelvin means molar volume 22.71. We know that 1 bar is equal to 10 power 5 Pascal. Pascal is the SI unit of pressure. So instead of 1 bar, we may write 10 power 5 Pascal. Decimeter cube can be converted into meter cube, isn't it? 1 decimeter cube is equal to 10 power minus 3 meter cube. So this will be rearranged. So 10 power 5 Pascal 22.71 into 10 power minus 3 meter cube divided by 1 mole gaseous molecule and the temperature is 273.15 Kelvin. The answer is 8.314 Pascal meter cube per Kelvin per mole. This will be changed into joule. .314. We know that 1 bar is equal to 10 power 5 Pascal. That means what is 1 Pascal? 1 Pascal is nothing but 10 power minus 5 bar. So 10 power minus 5 bar. Pascal is converted into bar. Then meter cube, 1 decimeter cube is equal to 10 power minus 3 meter cube. That means one meter cube is nothing but 10 power 3 decimeter cube. So 10 power 3 decimeter cube per Kelvin per mole. So this is the value we obtained, 8.314 Pascal meter cube per Kelvin per mole. 1 Pascal is nothing but what? 1 Pascal is nothing but 10 power minus 5 bar. Okay, instead of Pascal we substituted this. 1 meter cube means 10 power 3 decimeter cube. So instead of meter cube we substituted 10 power 3 decimeter cube, remaining as such, per Kelvin per mole. 8.314 into 10 power minus 2 bar. Decimeter cube can also be written as liter. So per Kelvin per mole. Gas constant R is 8.314 and this is called Joule. 8.314 Joule per Kelvin per mole. So ideal gas equation is PV is equal to nRT. R is gas constant. So gas constant can be calculated using different units for pressure. If we apply atmosphere as a pressure, atmospheric pressure, the value will be 0.0821. If we apply the unit of pressure as Pascal, 8.314. Okay, so this is the gas constant value calculation. Next, a problem is given. Consider sulfur hexafluoride gaseous molecule. For this gaseous molecule, number of moles have given us 2. Volume is given us 6 decimeter cube. Temperature is 70 degrees Celsius. In terms of Kelvin, to convert Celsius into Kelvin, we have to add 273.15. So approximately 273. So 300. So exactly means 15. Gas constant 0.0821 units. Atmospheric pressure, liter or decimeter cube per Kelvin per mole. For sulfur hexafluoride gaseous molecule, all these values are given: number of moles, volume, temperature, and the gas constant. We have to calculate pressure. And the thing is, this is assumed as an ideal gas. Practically, we don't have ideal gas. We have to assume that sulfur hexafluoride is an ideal gas. So to calculate the pressure, we know the ideal gas equation PV is equal to nRT. We have to calculate pressure. So pressure P is equal to nRT divided by V. So we substitute number of moles 2, gas constant 0.0821, atmospheric air, so atmospheric pressure, decimeter cube per Kelvin per mole, temperature 343 approximately, divided by volume 6 decimeter cube. So this will be cancelled. Mole and mole inverse will be cancelled. Kelvin and the Kelvin inverse will be cancelled. Decimeter cube will be cancelled. So remaining 9.39 atmospheric pressure. So answer is 9.39 atmospheric pressure. Remaining we have this unit alone. Okay. For sulfur hexafluoride, except pressure, other values are given. You have to calculate pressure using the ideal gas equation PV is equal to nRT. So with this ideal gas equation, calculation of gas constant problems are over. Next we move into the another gas is law, Dalton's law of partial pressure. So consider a container which has three gaseous components, right? Component 1, component 2, component 3. So a container has three gaseous components, and all these three gaseous components, that means gaseous compounds, are non-reacting in nature. So among the three, there will not be any chemical reaction. All the three components in the container will be non-reactive in nature. Okay, so they are non-reacting gaseous molecules in the mixture which is placed in a container. So according to Dalton's law of partial pressure, the total pressure of the container or the mixture will be equal to the partial pressures of the components in the mixture. To take total pressure, we have three components in the container. So the mixture has three components. All the three are non-reactive in nature. In that situation, each component will migrate independently. Gaseous molecules will have random movement. All the three components will independently migrate because they are not combining to produce new substance. They are non-reactive in nature. So total pressure of the container or the mixture will be equal to the individual pressures of the components. We call the individual pressure. The pressure exerted by the individual component is called partial pressure. What's the meaning of partial pressure? Pressure experienced or exerted by the individual component. So total pressure of the mixture will be equal to the sum of partial pressure of the components. This is called Dalton's law of partial pressure. The total pressure of the container having non-reactive components will be equal to the partial pressure of the components in the mixture. This is called Dalton's law of partial pressure. So total pressure is equal to partial pressure of first component plus partial pressure of second component plus partial pressure of third component. We consider this equation as number 1. We assume that all the gaseous molecules in the container behave as ideal gas. So ideal gas equation, PV is equal to nRT. Now we are going to derive the formula for partial pressure. For total pressure, we know the formula. Total pressure is the sum of partial pressures of the components in the mixture. We are going to calculate, or we are going to derive the formula for partial pressure. So we assume all the three components are behaving ideally. Since they are behaving ideally, ideal gas equation PV is equal to nRT. So P is equal to nRT by V. Pressure is nothing but N multiplied by RT by V. Partial pressure of first component P1 is equal to N1, number of moles of first component in the mixture. How much moles of first component in the mixture, and this will be the constant. We maintain same volume and temperature. Already R is a gas constant, so this value will be constant. So partial pressure of first component, partial pressure of second component is equal to the product of N2 and RT by V, number of moles of second component in the mixture. Partial pressure of third component is N3 RT by V. So partial pressure of first, second, third components I have written here. Substitute all the values in first equation. So total pressure is equal to partial pressure of first component plus second component plus third component. So N1 RT by V plus N2 RT by V plus N3 RT by V. RT by V is common. So N1 plus N2 plus N3, you take it out, RT by V. So total pressure is equal to total number of moles in the mixture. So in the container, how much total number of moles present? So this will be written as total number of moles multiplied by RT by V. We take this equation as number 2. So 3 components present in the mixture. So that partial pressure is denoted as P1, P2, P3. Now we consider the component I. I may be any one component, like a 10th component, 15th component, any one. So we take component I, isn't it? Partial pressure of component I is nothing but what? Number of moles of component I in the mixture, RT by V. Instead of first, second and third component, we take the component I. Partial pressure of ith component is the product of number of moles of ith component and RT by V. Substitute this value in this, because RT by V is nothing but what? Pi by Ni, isn't it? The Ni comes into left hand side as a division. So RT by V is nothing but Pi by Ni. Substitute this value in second equation. So total pressure is equal to total number of moles. RT by V is replaced by partial pressure of ith component, number of moles of ith component in the mixture. So this can be written as what? Total number of moles divided by number of moles of ith component multiplied by partial pressure of ith component. And this equation can be rearranged because we need the formula to calculate partial pressure of ith component. So this will move into the left hand side. So we need partial pressure of ith component. So total pressure, and this comes into left hand side. So Ni will be in the numerator, number of moles of ith component divided by total number of moles. Okay. So when this is moving into the left hand side, we have obtained the formula for partial pressure. Partial pressure of ith component is the product of total pressure and number of moles of ith component divided by total number of moles. This is called mole fraction. Okay. So partial pressure of ith component is equal to total pressure multiplied by mole fraction of ith component. X is a symbol for mole fraction. Okay. So mole fraction of ith component is the ratio of number of moles of ith component to the total number of moles. Okay. So all these will be used in remaining lessons also. So study thoroughly. Using the Dalton's law of partial pressure, finally we have obtained the formula to calculate partial pressure. Partial pressure is the product of mole fraction and total pressure. So when you do a problem, you can easily understand. We have a container having 3 gaseous molecules, neon, argon and xenon. Number of moles of neon 4.74, argon 0.74, xenon 2.5. Total pressure is given as 2 atmospheric pressure. Calculate partial pressure of neon, partial pressure of argon and the partial pressure of xenon. So what is the formula? Partial pressure of ith component is the product of mole fraction and total pressure. It's a formula. Mole fraction is nothing but ratio of number of moles of ith component to the total number of moles. Using this we are going to calculate. So partial pressure of neon is equal to mole fraction of neon multiplied by total pressure. Mole fraction of neon means number of moles of neon divided by total number of moles multiplied by total pressure. Number of moles of neon 4.74. Total number of moles, we have three components: neon 4.74, argon 0.74, xenon 2.5. So number of moles of neon divided by total number of moles multiplied by the total pressure 2. So the answer is 1.19 atmospheric pressure. This is the partial pressure of neon. The same way we can calculate partial pressure of argon is equal to number of moles of argon divided by total number of moles in the container and total pressure. Number of moles of argon 0.74 divided by total number of moles 4.74 plus 0.74 plus 2.5, total pressure 2. So the answer is 0.186 atmospheric pressure. Calculate for xenon. Number of moles of xenon divided by total number of moles multiplied by total pressure. Number of moles of xenon 2.5 divided by total number of moles multiplied by 2, total pressure. So final answer is 0.624 partial pressure of xenon, 0.624. So this the problem over. So we have derived partial pressure equation or formula. Okay. So according to Dalton's law, total pressure is the sum of partial pressure of components in the mixture, and the condition is the component should be non-reactive in nature. Then what is the application of Dalton's law? To consider a container. In a container, a chemical reaction takes place. Due to the chemical reaction, two gaseous components are coming out. One is water vapor, another one is dry gas. Okay, you take a reaction in the container, it produces two gaseous molecules. One is water vapor, another one is dry gas. Now apply Dalton's law. Total pressure is the sum of partial pressure of the components in the mixture. Partial pressure of dry gas plus partial pressure of water vapor. So we can calculate pressure of dry gas. So pressure of dry gas is equal to, this will move into the left hand side. So total pressure minus pressure of water vapor. So this is the application of Dalton's law. So dry gas is coming out due to the downward displacement of water vapor in a container. So we calculate the pressure of dry gas using this formula. Pressure of water vapor is nothing but aqueous tension. Aqueous tension of air. The value will be different at different temperatures. So this is aqueous tension. From the total pressure, you just subtract aqueous tension, you will get pressure of dry gas. This is the application of Dalton's law. Tomorrow we will start Graham's law of diffusion. Thank you.